Well, good morning. Today is, well, let's fix this. There, now you don't see the shelf. Today is Thursday, October 26th. 5 days left for this month. Winter coat. I don't like this fact that I have a winter coat on. It's 32 degrees. I like to walk in the cold, I really do, but it just means that the snow is not far behind. I was trying to show you, but it wasn't coming up on film, that the lawns are all full of frost. And it just, because it's so sunny, when I tried to film it, you couldn't see it. But take my word for it, frost everywhere. It was funny because on the weather last night, they said that we're past the growing season, so they don't have to give us frost warnings anymore. My cousin's on her way. She emailed me this morning, so she should be here about 1 o'clock. And Don over at West Virginia running, Don, I think you run way earlier. I think I'm rolling over when you're getting out of bed to run. We are in the same time zone. I saw on your Instagram. I'm still learning. I don't do really well with it. I'm still in the learning process of that. Much to Denise's humor, because she's always pointing out how funny I was. I don't have any criticism of that, because I am. I'm kind of like goofy on that. I just can't figure out how to do it. But I did see his video this morning, and he says, "Oh, come on! I think we're running. You're running right here beside me." Well, in spirit, I am running with him, but I'm just. It's too early. Even if he was to live nearby me and say, "Well, I'll run and you walk," I'd say, "I'll meet you on the flip side when you get back," because by the time you get back is by the time I'd be getting out of bed. That's what I love about being retired. I can stay up as late as I want, and I can get up as late as I want. Although I still feel guilty. I mean, I might not go to bed till 3 or 4 in the morning, and then I'll get up at 10 and I'll think, "Oh, you lazy butt, it's 10 o'clock," because I'm so used to, not, it's been years, but I used to get up at 5 to go to work. So to me, 10 o'clock is like half the day is shot. But if you stay up till 4 in the morning and you go to bed get up at 10, that's only 6 hours sleep, which I really don't require much more than 6 or 7 hours. I think I do nod off in the chair. I thought my grandma was funny when she would like be sitting in the chair and she'd be, but, oh, that reminds me of a funny story. My Aunt Merle lived with us, and she was elderly. She really was, but she was so spry. That's who I want to be. I want to be my Aunt Merle. I think she was 90 something when she died, but she was living with us, and my mother was working, and it was Denise and Mary and I were home. Well, I wasn't home. That was when I was going through my period that I never wanted to be alone. So Jim would drop me off at my mother's house on his way to work with Jimmy, and then he'd pick me up on the way home. But anyway, I've overcome that. But so anyway, my aunt, excuse me, sinuses, sorry. My Aunt Merle would get up every morning, and she'd have a cup of tea and a piece of toast, and she'd watch a little bit of TV in the morning. We used to watch Rita Bell, which was a movie thing. And then she'd show movies, and Rita Bell would have questions, and you'd call in and win prizes. And then when she was done, she'd go in the bathroom. She'd put her wig on. She'd put all of her makeup, full makeup. She'd put a really pretty dress on. She'd get a purse to match her dress. And she'd be like dressed to the hilt. So it was like she was going on a date. And she would call a cab, and the taxi would come and pick her up. And there was a little shopping center we called the Civic Center in Detroit. If anybody's familiar with the area, it's like by Houston, Whittier, and Kelly. And she would go to Saunders, and she'd have lunch. And then she'd do a little bit of shopping. She might buy something, small little trinket. And then she'd come home, and then she would do that. So she did this every day faithfully, Monday through Friday, faithfully. Well, the one day, she didn't get up. And so we thought, well, why, and she's old. So we thought, oh my God, she must have died during the night. But we didn't want to go in and wake her up in case she was sleeping in, but she never slept in, so we thought it was odd. So Mary went first, and she looked in the door, and she peeked in the door. She come back. Oh, another thing. My Aunt Merle couldn't sleep laying down. She had one of those stand-up pillows with the little arms on it, and she would like sit like this, and she would sleep, like that. Sometimes with her eyes open, because it was just really creepy. She'd always sleep with her eyes open. So Mary come back, and she said, well, she's still in there. She's still sleeping. And so we said, are her eyes closed? And she said, yeah, they're closed. And I went, oh, okay. So we waited about a half an hour, and she still wasn't up. So then Denise went and looked. And Denise comes back, and she said, I don't know, she just doesn't look right. And I said, well, maybe she's dead. Oh, no, I don't want to go in there and she's dead. I don't want to go in there when she's dead. So I went and got a hand mirror. And I went in the bedroom and I held it underneath her nose. You could see the fog on the mirror. And I come back out and I said, oh, she's fine. She's fine. There was breath on the mirror. And not 5 minutes later, Aunt Merle come out. She says, boy, I was really tired. I've never slept in that late. And they went, oh, I didn't even notice. Yeah, it is right. You slept in late. We thought she was dead. But that was my Merle, my Aunt Merle. I love my Aunt Merle. And one other quick story is Jimmy one time when he was like 3, went into her room, put her wig on, put her purse on, walked with his heels and walked down the halls and said, hello, I'm Merle. Oh, well, that was such a happy memory. She must be floating around by me for me to have that thought. I always think of when you think of people that have passed, that somehow their spirit has come to visit you for a quick hot minute. And she's been gone a long time. She died way back in the 70s. It was like 74, 75. You know, at the end, she was kind of like losing it, but it was like she'd make a cup of tea and forget to put the tea bag in the water, and then she'd say, oh, this tea is really weak. My favorite, though, is we were watching All My Children, and there was a character that was Kitty. And for some reason, they killed Kitty off. Contract dispute or something, but they killed Kitty off. And the fans went crazy because she was such a beloved character that they brought her back as her twin sister, Kelly. Now, it's the same actress playing a different part, but the same actress playing her twin sister. And my Aunt Merle would get so aggravated when the Kelly character would come on, because she'd always say, you know, if they were going to get someone to play Kitty's twin sister, you think they'd get someone that looked a little bit more like her. And we'd go, yeah, you're right, Aunt Merle, you're right. All right, I talked long enough. Let's go for our walk. Well, I'm not sure if you can tell, but I still got flowers blooming. And it's cold. Over here. There we go. A couple on there too. It was a beautiful walk. Oh, I should show you the sky. Look how pretty the sky is. Gorgeous. The trees are starting to turn. It was cold, it really was. But you know what? I prefer the cold. Michelle over at my Everyday Wife Life has suggested that maybe I walk 3 miles. I've walked 2 miles and I'm done. But I think, like I told her, I think what I might do is walk a mile at night. Not this week because my cousin's here and we're kind of rude. And she's thin, so she'll walk faster than me, and then I wouldn't be able to keep up. And she'd feel guilty. And that's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. But I think on Monday I'm going to do that. I'll walk the 2 miles in the morning. And then maybe around 4 o'clock, I'll walk another mile. I'll walk a mile in my shoes, as they say. So I'm going to go in, have my water, take my shower, and get on with my day. So I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay, here's the quote. Failure occurs because of 2 reasons. Doing things without thinking about them, thinking about things without doing them. Okay, it's time for number 4. 3 things in my life that I regret. Well, the first one goes without question. It's that I let my weight get out of control. I've wasted my whole life being fat. It's just, and not that my life was a waste. I don't mean it to sound like that, but I let my weight keep me from doing so many things that I could have done if I would have been thinner. And I chose food over, I don't know, I just chose food, not over happiness, because I always thought it made me happy to eat. But I've never been ashamed of my body, but I've never been happy about it. Like I've told you in the past, people, I don't have a problem. If you have to make a comment about me, I don't care. You know, make a comment. You want to hit the dislike button, it doesn't hurt my feelings. It's just, you're never going to please everybody all of the time. So I just know that I could have made better food choices in my life. I could have been healthier. I've been very fortunate that my health has been as good as it was, even though I've been dying since I was 16. I have a strong heart, and I don't really have any major issues. I have high blood pressure, but I'm hoping that with my losing my weight and my new lifestyle, that the next time I go in for my physical, that she'll either lower it or eliminate it, I'm hoping. But, you know, I don't have a problem taking medication. If that's what I need, that's what I need. I'll take it. The second thing I regret is my finances. I am by no means poor. I am not struggling. I don't live month to month, and I have money in the bank. I have all of those things, but I could have made better choices as I was going along in life. I could have invested my money a little bit better, and I'd have a little bit more money now. Money is not everything. I understand that, but it's nice that you don't have to worry about money. And there's so many people out there that have to worry about money. And if I would have just made some better choices along the way, I would have a whole lot more money. I don't live to have money left over for my children, but it would be nice. I'm going to live my life how I want to live it, and if there's any money left over, they can divide it up equally. I have it in my will that they have, how they're going to divide it up equally, which I don't have any problem. I raised 3 good kids, and I know that there won't be any issues. We've already had the discussion about what they're going to get anyhow while I'm alive. So they know what they're supposed to have and what they're not supposed to have. And if I have money left over, that's good. But, I would like to have some money left over for them. I really would. It's just that's just what you do. You just try to make things better for your kids. My life was better than my parents', and my parents' life was better than theirs, and I'm hoping that my children's lives are better than my life, and then their children's will be better than theirs. I just think it's just a tradition I like to pass down. The third thing I regret, and this is not going to sound the way I want it to sound. I thought about it in my mind how I was going to say it so it wouldn't sound so bad, but I have a problem that my children don't go to church. My husband doesn't go to church either. I go to church with Denise on Sundays, or I go by myself if Denise goes to a different mass. I don't have a problem going by myself. I really enjoy church, and I understand that there's a lot of people out there that don't like going to church, and I don't have any condemnation for them. And I know that kind of sounds like I do when I'm saying that my regret is that my children don't go to church. I think maybe I forced it on them a little bit too much, and that's why they don't go to church. They're very religious people. I mean, they're very God-based, they're faith-based, but they just don't go to church. I've heard all the excuses. I can pray to God no matter where I am. I don't have to go in a building. I don't want to be there with a bunch of hypocrites. And I totally agree. I'm one of those hypocrites. I don't live a perfect life. I need to go to church to just spend that 1 hour. My thinking is, and this is just my thinking, and I'm not pushing it on anybody else, but my thinking is that God gave me 168 hours to spend any way I want this week. And if I want to spend an hour with God, with other people singing and praying and, doing all of that, that's what I choose to do. I just wish that my children would find some enjoyment, or not enjoyment, but solace. I don't know. I don't believe that you have to go to church to go to heaven. I believe that you got to believe in God, but I also believe that whatever God you believe in, you're still going to heaven, because I think that God gives us different choices. And I don't mean to get all preachy and all that with religion, but I am so blessed with so many things in my life, and I have God to thank for that. And if I died tomorrow and there is no God, I still lived a good life, and I lived a life that I would be proud of. And if I'm just worm bait in the ground, I don't have a problem with that. I don't believe that. I believe that I'm going to go to heaven. But if there is no heaven, I'm living my heaven here on earth. I have my family. I have my health. I can go to the store and buy whatever I want. So I have enough money. I have everything that I need here on earth. But my family that have passed before me, I need them still. So I have the belief that they're going to be there. And so I know that's kind of preachy, I'm sorry, but that's just how I believe. And by no means are my children like going out there breaking every commandment or anything like that. I don't want you to think that. But I'd hate to think that church was I don't know the word, is one of the requirements to get to heaven, because if that's the case, my kids and my husband aren't going to be there. So I believe in what I believe. And anyway, those are my 3 regrets. I'm sorry I babbled on, but okay, I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. We'll see you at Sophia's concert. Well, I'm closing this video today early because I talked a long time. So I might film more, might not. We'll see.